According to our bottom shell pattern, the lengthwise grain line should be in the same direction as the selvage, which runs through the length of the fabric. The bottom section needs to be cut on folded fabric as indicated along this edge. Fold the solid fabric with the right sides in to be able to fit the back shell pattern on it. If your fabric has a directional pattern or nap, you need to fold the fabric in this direction. And place your pattern on it like this. Instead of a fold line, you will need to have a seam line here, adding seam allowances as well. Therefore, you will need to add a seam allowance here to your pattern and cross out the fold line. To know exactly how much to fold the fabric by, we measure the height of the bottom section. Here it is 21.5 centimeters. Now measure 21.5 centimeters from this edge and pin mark like this. Catching just the top layer. Next, we fold along the pin line and pin the fold in place, catching both layers. Now align these edges and pin on this side, catching both layers. We place the pattern on top, away from the selvage. First, we align the bottom edge with the fold. Then we pin it in place. Now we pin along this edge, making sure it is parallel to the fabric. Because our grain line is parallel with this edge of the pattern, it is enough to align this edge with the selvage. Now we pin this corner. Then along this edge, pinning in the same direction. Then this edge. Remove these pins. Then cut out the bottom piece. Clip the notches around the pattern. The notches are about 3 millimeters deep. We keep the pattern on top to mark the tailor tacks later on. Now we cut the top section of the shell. Here our fabric has a directional nap or pattern. The flowers and stems are in this direction. We want them to be upward on our tote bag as well. To make sure the direction of the nap will be upward on both sides of our tote bag, we need to fold the fabric in this way. We fold the fabric like this. We want to cut the two layers at this corner. Again, we don't want to use the salvages. Align these two corners and pin. Then match these edges and pin. Now we match the salvages and pin along this edge. Place the pattern here. This is the top of this pattern. We make sure to have the nap of the fabric in the same direction, going upwards. The lengthwise grain line is in this direction. Align this edge with the bottom edge and pin. Now we pin along the salvage side. Then this corner. Then along this edge. Then this edge. Cut around the pattern. Now we clip the notches. Now we will cut the handles. We will need to cut two of them. First we fold the fabric in this direction along its width. We do this because we have a fold line here. We will cut the first handle from here and the second one beside it. Pin along here, matching the edges of the fabric. Align this edge with the folded edge of the fabric, placing the pattern parallel to and away from the salvage. Pin here, then here. Then along this edge. Then this corner. Then in between along this edge. Remove these pins. Cut around the pattern. Now we clip the notches. Remove the pattern. Now we will cut out the second handle. Align these edges of the fabric and pin them in place. Now place the pattern here, aligning this edge with the folded edge of the fabric. We pin the pattern in place. Then cut around the pattern. Now we clip the notches. Now we cut the lining from our muslin fabric. You may choose a different type of fabric if you like. Since our lining pattern needs to be placed on a fold line along this edge, we fold the lining in this direction. Place the pattern on top to see how much we need to fold the fabric by. We want the lengthwise grain line to be in this direction, parallel to the selvage. Align the selvages and pin. Now place the pattern here, aligning this edge with the folded edge of the fabric. Pin the pattern in place away from the selvage. Remove these pins. Cut around the pattern. Now we clip the notches. We will do the tailor tacks later on. Next, we will cut the pocket from the muslin fabric. This is the length of our fabric. We want the lengthwise grain line of the pattern to be in the same direction. Place the pattern like this. We know this is a straight edge, so we align our pattern with it. Now we pin to keep it in place. Cut around the pattern. Now we clip the notches. Next, we will mark the tailor tacks.